Now, in this discussion, we identified a number of important philosophical principles that bear on the question of justice and moral desert. One question is whether justice actually involves moral desert. What about the element of luck? The luck to live in a society that happens to value the qualities that this or that person, that you or that I happen to have. That doesn't seem to be the doing of me or of you or of Neymar. That seems to be the good luck of those who happen to have the talents that our societies happen to reward. So insofar as that contingency, that element of luck, shapes the result of market exchanges and determines who gets what, that would not seem to be a matter of moral desert. Well, what could be a matter of moral desert? Maybe effort, how much we try, but school teachers work hard just as great football players work hard. And then there's the question of whether there is some independent judgment, moral judgment, about the worth of contributions to society. Pedro emphasizes that one of the virtues of markets is that although they may seem arbitrary in what they reward reflects what people value for themselves as individuals. And Enrique says, well, what the market winds up rewarding may or may not correspond to what's truly important to human happiness or to the common good. To which Pedro replies, but doesn't that mean that Enrique, or a philosopher king, substitutes his or her judgment about what's valuable as a contribution to the judgment of individuals? And isn't that a virtue of markets? Maybe Neymar doesn't morally deserve all that money, but allowing him to keep it, Pedro says, is a way of honoring the free individual choices of all those people who want to watch him play. So, through this discussion of pay differences, we've already begun to examine and to hear articulated quite powerfully some of the central philosophical questions about justice. Now, I mentioned at the outset that there is a further challenge, ethical challenge, to living in a just society. And that has to do with the growing role of money in markets in our lives. These days, there are very few things, fewer and fewer things, that money can't buy. There's a place, a town in California, where if you're sentenced to a jail term and you don't like the jail cell, and if you have the money, you can pay extra and get a prison cell upgrade. It's true. An unusual use of money. Take another example. There are more and more for-profit schools, hospitals, and prisons in countries around the world, a growing role for markets. Take the provision of security on our streets. In many countries, there are more people employed now as private security guards than as public police officers. So we're seeing the privatization of essential services and goods, including security. Consider the way we fight our wars. Now, I should say the way some of us fight wars, because Brazil hasn't recently fought a war. But in Iraq and Afghanistan, there were more private military contractors on the ground than there were U.S. military troops.